Recently, the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, you know him, you love him, he warned that hyperinflation is coming to the U.S. Now, Jack seems to be pretty bullish on Bitcoin, so maybe he's just of that perspective. Maybe it's good news for Bitcoin, or maybe the reason he's interested in Bitcoin is because he can see the writing on the wall, that hyperinflation is here, and it's going to get really bad. Now, all of a sudden, we see the mainstream media doing what they do best, saying, no, stop, everything's fine, and you are happy. I wonder if one of the big reasons people come to watch shows like mine or Timcast IRL is because we don't shy away from talking about things that might be a little over the top. I think Tucker Carlson goes way further than we do, for sure, when he talks about immigration and voting and stuff like that. But we talk about hyperinflation, shortages, potential civil war or national divorce, real conversations that people are wondering about. Before you, there is a story from transportationnation.com. I'm not familiar with this website. I don't know if it's a credible news source, but they say, report, 38,000 cross-border truckers will immediately exit due to vaccine mandate. Now, typically I don't like using sources if I don't know anything about them. But here's the thing. We have another story from CNBC. Business groups ask White House to delay Biden COVID vaccine mandate until after the holidays. I love it. As if that will alleviate things. Just do it after the holidays, then let everything get bad. Basically, we're going to cut and run. Please, will you let us make as much money as possible over the holidays and then nuke the economy? Anyway, in this story, they talk about the American Trucking Association. Let me just make sure I can pull it up right away. They say this. The American Trucking Association, in its letter last week, also asked the administration to consider exempting truckers from the mandate, arguing that drivers are similar to remote workers because they do not interact with each other, with another employee for days or weeks at a time. They go on to say that they expect a mass wave of resignations. Maybe I should just pull that one up too. They expect a wave of resignations should the vaccine mandate be implemented. I should probably, yeah. They say OMB officials have several meetings lined up Monday and Tuesday with groups representing dentists, trucking companies, staffing companies. The American Trucking Associations will meet with the OMB on Tuesday. They warned the administration last week that many drivers will likely quit rather than get vaccinated, further disrupting the national supply chain at a time when the industry is already short 80,000 drivers. The Trucking Association estimates companies covered by the mandate could lose 37% of drivers through retirements, resignations, and workers switching to smaller companies not covered by the requirements. Okay, when they tell you it is not Joe Biden's fault, laugh. All right, okay, laughing won't be an effective way to argue against them, but please share this. If 37% of truckers quit at a time when we are down 80,000 drivers, my stars and garters, my friends, it will get way, way worse. Have you noticed shipping delays already? Have you noticed you can't get that comfy little futon from Walmart anymore? What's that? No vacuum cleaner, and worse still, food. That's right. When these truckers are not around, that is, I'm not a doctor, but when you have a low red blood cell count, that's basically what it is. Truckers are the red blood cells of this country, transporting vital and essential compounds from one place to another to keep the energy a-flowing. They travel across the country from city to city, state to state, bringing you the food and the goods you need to live. And we're going to lose them. Now, back to that first story. They say this, the Canadian Trucking Alliance, now this is interesting, Canadian, is warning of increased supply chain disruption should the U.S. follow through on its recently announced cross-border vaccine mandate. Earlier this month, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security announced that beginning in early January 2022, all inbound foreign national travelers, including truckers, must be fully vaccinated for COVID-19 and provide related proof of vaccination. What does fully vaccinated mean? And therein lies the issue. Fully vaccinated can mean whatever they want it to mean, whatever they want it to mean, whatever they want. Yeah. At first, it meant that you had 2 shots. Well, now Johnson & Johnson requires a booster. They're saying, I don't know if it requires, but they're saying you're eligible after 2 months to get a Johnson & Johnson booster. Are you no longer fully vaccinated now if you haven't got the booster? I think that may go to individual discretion, but I'm going to go ahead and say probably not if you haven't gotten the booster. What that means is you are going to have rolling medical scheduling. You want to be a trucker? You're going to come to the border and they're going to say, "Oh, we just rolled out a new booster. You don't have it. You're going to have to turn around." Or step into our parking lot with our local convenience store where we'll apply that booster to you. They've already talked about this. It was the Biden admin that they might, or the CDC, they might need to change the definition of fully vaccinated now that boosters are available. Duh. We knew that was coming. My friends, you will own nothing and you will be happy. That's the plan. You will own nothing. Now, interestingly, I am someone who I like minimalism. For most of my life, I had very little and I was very happy because experiences I find to be the most important things. Living is more important than owning. But there's some things you need to own. You need to own a refrigerator, I guess. You don't need to, but it greatly helps with your survivability. You need shelter. There are things you need to own. If you can't even own your own shelter, then and you have no security, people are going to lose their minds. They say the announcement quickly drew criticism and concern among those who operate cross-border trucking businesses. In fact, one top Canadian trucking executive asserted the mandate would result in a disaster. Now, CTA is sounding the alarm on just how deeply the vaccination requirements will impact the supply chain that moves by truck, which accounts for approximately 70% of the nearly $650 billion in trade between the U.S. and Canada. Oh, this is going to be funny because truckers aren't going to want to go up to Canada because they can't get back in. So if there's like an American and they're like, "Hey, we're going to have you haul, corn into Canada, and then you'll pick up a load and ship it back." That's how you do it. They're going to be like, "No, because if I try and come back in, I have to undergo a mandate." Now, this is, I believe, for Americans. It's for foreign travelers. So we'll see. I mean, people in Canada already live under a boot anyway, so they probably have no problem dropping to their knees and taking the injection for the state. And then who cares? When they cross the U.S. border, they'll say, "Gee golly, sir. Yep, I got all my vaccinations up to date." Or was that too Midwestern of an accent? You get the point. I don't know if they can enforce that on Americans coming in. It says foreign travelers, but maybe. Let me just make sure we get it here. Inbound foreign national travelers probably will not include Americans. It absolutely will be disruptive, they say. According to the CTA's latest projections, almost 1 in 4 drivers will abandon cross-border operations should the vaccine mandate take effect early next year. So while you have businesses saying, "Please wait until after the holidays," you have this other one saying even after the holidays, they expect 25% of their drivers to resign, to quit. Resignations. Oh man, that's really interesting. And then what will they say? These shortages have nothing to do with vaccine mandates. It's just people aren't working. That's what they said about Southwest, remember? It's the vaccine mandates. And I think they know. And I think they want some kind of, large, impactful kind of restart. You know what I mean? Like maybe a large restart, an epic reconfiguration or a great reset. That sounds so much easier to say. A great reset. Oh, wait. They've publicly talked about their great reset of global capitalism. Well, here you go, my friends. If you are a working class individual, I'm sorry, at this point, imagine it this way. There is a great helicopter atop a building. And upward mobility is that if you work hard enough and you climb 100 flights of stairs, you're drenched in sweat, you can grab onto that helicopter and be lifted up into the sky. Well, that helicopter's leaving. Upward mobility is being destroyed. And those who are below a certain income level will be left behind permanently. 2 classes will be formed. And it's not vaxxed and unvaxxed. That's wrong. There was that woman, what's her name, Jacinda in New Zealand. She was asked by a reporter, "Are you creating 2 classes of people?" And she's like, "Yes, that's exactly what we're doing." I can't do a New Zealand accent, but you get the point. She's saying there's going to be 2 classes of people, vaxxed and unvaxxed. Not true. If you are rich, you are exempt from all of this. Joe Rogan gets to go perform at Madison Square Garden. No vaccine mandate for him, but if you want to watch him perform, vaccine mandate for you. It's the capital city in the Hunger Games. Rich people are exempt. It's just that simple. Now, to varying degrees, a wealthy individual of moderate wealth We'll still have to navigate the system, but can easily navigate around it. For instance, private planes, no vaccine mandate. Can you afford a private plane? You don't got to worry about it. You can fly wherever you want. No masks either. It's way more comfortable anyway. Now, you still have to worry about the airport and how you're getting in and what you got to do. But typically with private planes, you can go to smaller airports, go right through the gate, walk right up to your plane if you have the money to do so. So if you're poor and you need to fly, get your vaccine, get your mask, do as you're told or else. And that nasty flight attendant's going to come at you and start screaming. Now, if you're really rich, like a billionaire rich, they can fly wherever they want, whatever they want. They don't even need passports. And this is what people just don't understand about wealth. I mean, the left kind of gets this right. The right, I don't think does. People just generally do not understand wealth. There's a certain point at which you have so much money that nothing really matters. And that's certainly Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos with super yachts. This dude, I assure you, can make a phone call. And in fact, he doesn't even do this. He boards his private plane, flies to a foreign country, and they walk him out and shake his hand, and he requires no passport. They know who Jeff Bezos is. He is a global elite. He requires nothing to move freely about anywhere in the world. Now, there may be some holdout country. Venezuela might be like, no. Iran might be like, get out of here. But if the dude flew to Europe, I'll just put it this way. People I know who aren't even that rich, the children of some of these people, tell me stories about how they just like, oh, yeah, we just take a private plane to Germany and then we don't passport. We get escorted right through the gates because they know who our family is. They know who we are. And that's power. So if you are working class, get ready, because when these truckers cut out, they have no choice. So is your food. And what are you going to eat? This is remarkable. It's really remarkable. They're talking about how, look at this one. We got this from the Daily Mail. Time to pardon a Thanksgiving turkey. Supply chain crisis sees price of popular bird rocket by 27% in a year, with pumpkin pie, potatoes, and grapes also soaring in price. That's right, my friends. Thanksgiving is going to cost you an arm and a leg. You will own nothing. I hope you've been paying attention to what that means, because you think they're joking. They're not. That was the video they put out. The World Economic Forum made a video. It said, you will own nothing and you will be happy. They write the story of like the world in 2030. I leave my apartment where I rent and hop on a city bike, which is owned by a major bank. And then eventually, I get to the cafe where I purchase a small coffee. I then contact a car service to drive me places. I own nothing and I'm happy. That's that famous saying from Harriet Tubman, the famous quote. I have saved many slaves. I would have saved many more if only they knew they were slaves. Ignorance. This is what they need. They need you to be ignorant. They need you to give up your freedom. Why? They want to make sure your children grow up in a world where they never knew these freedoms existed. They want you to live under the boot like the Borg in Star Trek. They want you to be a cog in their machine. No upward mobility, no chance at a happy life. They want you to just be indoctrinated and beaten down. But you know what? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. There's a fire inside people. There's a fire. And there is a natural drive that we must do more, do something. And I don't think, even if they were to gain control of the systems the way they hope to, I don't think people would just lie down and accept it. I think eventually you'd see the system implode. But I think they're betting on the surveillance state. When it comes to some of these dystopian movies, V for Vendetta, for instance. In V for Vendetta, there is mass surveillance, but they greatly underestimate the power of that mass surveillance. So take, for instance, V for Vendetta. What's it about? A bunch of military and political elites and religious elites stage a virus, buy shares in the pharmaceutical company that has the vaccine because they made the virus in the first place. They then all become extremely wealthy, take control of the country through fear, and then rule with an iron fist. In the beginning of the movie, Evie Hammond, I think her name is, played by Natalie Portman, is going out because she's going to be going to this comedian's house to, entertain, as it were, right? They're going to have a good time. Turns out the guy's actually, not interested in women in that way. But on her way there, she gets stopped by fingermen, police basically, and they want to abuse her. V intervenes, saves her. Now here's what's funny. In the real world, you will not be able to just leave your house. Why? You see, in this movie, Natalie Portman violates curfew. She chooses to, and she only gets caught when someone sees her. In Australia, they have a mobile app. Take a picture of your face with your geotag on it so we know exactly where you are, or else we're coming for you. That's why in the real world, surveillance is substantially worse. Now, with cell phones and with social media, they'll know if you're leaving your house anyway. And that's where we're going with social credit systems and vaccine passports. How much you want to bet the vaccine passport because of, what do they call it? What is it? Case tracking or whatever? I don't know. Where they want to check your movements. They're going to know where you are. You're going to walk out of your house and their thing's going to be like, we see them leaving. And then you're going to get in trouble. They're going to send you to a quarantine camp. Yeah, we were talking about inflation and stuff, but we're getting somewhere dark, aren't we? You will own nothing and you will be happy. We will eventually find ourselves in a despotic nightmare. But there won't be civil disobedience. There won't be a resistance because they know where you are. It's not just about the phone you carry. It's about the phones other people carry. It's about the alerts. It's about the cult. Think about it. Take a look at how people just scream and go insane like the Netflix employees. Dave Chappelle says, I'm going to tell a joke. And they go, ah! And one woman walks up to a guy, starts screaming, repent. He gets attacked. The zealots, the fundamentalists, the psychotic extremists will be used. Fanatics is probably the right word. The fanatics will be used to keep people in line. And they already are. Like in that viral video where the guy, he's chasing a woman down in a supermarket going, is anyone else mad that we all have to wear masks and she won't? We all have to wear masks and she won't. That's what it's really about, right? These spineless cowards who are too scared to just assert their rights are selling you out. Too scared. Here's what we get. Here's what's funny, right? Check this out. From Yahoo Finance, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey is right to scare everyone about hyperinflation. He goes on to make a joke about a beard, whatever. Jack Dorsey said hyperinflation is going to change everything. It's happening. Did you see Peter Thiel's Palantir bought $50 million worth of gold? I think gold's a good bet. I do. I think Bitcoin is also a really good bet. I'm not telling you what to buy. I think silver is better. The problem I have with gold is that it's too valuable. No, for real. Like, what are you going to do? You got a piece of gold and you're like, I would like a sandwich. And they'll be like, dude, I can't break a $20,000, a 10-ounce bar. Okay, well, how about a 1-ounce coin? Dude, I can't give you change for a $2,000 gold coin. I mean, maybe they could, but could you imagine walking into a store and being like, I'd like to buy one large roast beef sub with extra avocado or something. And they're like, that'll be $10. Here's a $2,000 gold coin. Let me pull out other gold coins, and then, they'll pull out. They'll give you 10. They'll pull out 9 1-ounce coins, and then whatever. I guess it is what it is. I guess maybe at that point it'll be like that'll be one. I mean, that's not even fair. 1/10 of a gram of gold. It's tough. Silver's good because a silver coin's $20. It's like $18. So you could seriously be like, yeah, I'll take the sandwich. And they'll be like, that'll be, that'll be a 1/2 ounce. And you'll be like, here's an ounce of silver. And they'll hand you back a 1/2 ounce. And maybe things will kind of revert to back the way they used to be when we actually had hard metal currencies. I think Bitcoin is good. I think Bitcoin is a digital asset. It's uncopyable. It can be transferred relatively quickly, almost instantly compared to other methods around the world, and it stores value and can be used to operate smart contracts. That means if you rent a new apartment, you don't need to do anything. You can literally walk up to an apartment, scan, and they'll say availability, Bitcoin requirements. They can see, your public account, and then you can press transfer, and then it'll automatically deduct, you'll automatically send the rent amount for the building, and you'll have it, and there won't be any people. No landlord. And so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not a bad thing. Landlord will still be responsible, but then you can go to the electric. There's like a meter on the house. Scan the QR code, press go, boom, all your power just turns right on. That's a smart contract. So for that, I think Bitcoin is good. I think the massive public tracking of it can be scary. So keep an eye out for that. But we do have this in response to Jack Dorsey's warning about hyperinflation. Kathy Wood disputes Jack Dorsey's hyperinflation warnings. Says prices will fall after the holidays. Don't believe these people. Chief Executive Officer at ARK Investment Management, please. They were like, inflation is transitory. It's not. It's permanent. It's getting worse. If inflation is driving up wages, do you think that workers are going to be like, now that the holidays are over, I'd like to lower my salary? Or do you think they're going to be like, I am not going to lower my salary? Screw off. Yeah, that one. So right now, the costs are too high. And the workers are saying, yo, I need at least $20 an hour. Otherwise, I can't do this job. And they're like, okay, fine, $20 an hour. This lady comes out and she's like, no. It's going to go down. That's right. Because in February, the guy who's making $20 an hour is going to be like, I don't need the $20 an hour anymore. Thanks, guy. I'll go back to 15. Now, to be fair, a lot of holiday workers will start disappearing, but that won't change the fact that there's going to be higher costs per employee. So, what do you think's going to happen? Man, they want you to believe everything's going to get better, but it is not. They want you to believe it because they don't want you to revolt against what they're doing. If they just came out right now and said, here's what we're doing, great reset, people be in the streets rioting. Trump would win in a landslide. There would be a convention of states. So they got to do it slowly. They got to make sure that regular people who are too dumb to fact check the news, I shouldn't say fact check because that implies they're doing more. I mean, like the people who are stupid, they believe CNN. I'll put it that way. They want to make sure those people never get out of the matrix. If too many people wake up from what's going on, take that little old red pill. Oh, there would be a revolt overnight. Keep people in the dark and feed them crap. Treat them like mushrooms, huh? Well, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I can tell you this. The truckers are the lifeblood of this country, and if they quit, it's already bad. It'll get worse. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.